show you guys the script that we have been using, what we are using at the Las Vegas protest for the Bloodstained men, to inform them of the Bloodstained men protest, and also to give them additional information. The difference between what we're doing and most people are doing is, well, most people, I'm not talking about what the Bloodstained men, I don't really actually know what they're doing. I think that they're sending a press release. That's what's typically is done for media, is they're sent a press release, which is 2 or 3 paragraphs, emailed, and that's pretty much it. But what our goal is to actually give the reporters education so that they can become more aware of the facts behind genital anatomy or genital autonomy, and why we are so concerned with protecting our children from this really horrendous type of abuse. So I'm going to share with you, these are 3 2-minute audio recordings that will be going out to the large majority of media in Las Vegas. Now, understand that the Bloodstained men are really sticking within a local area this time. They're not really going to many different locations, so our chances of getting many different published articles are very slim. We did do this program last year. We got 1 publication from Univision. Unfortunately, what I've noticed in our doing this activism is that the largest cities are the most difficult to get an article published. Not exactly sure why that is, but it's actually more difficult in the larger areas, Las Vegas being a pretty large city. Like I said, last time we got one from Univision, which was our first Spanish publication ever, which was awesome. But not ours, it was the Bloodstained men's, but it was ours as long as we have been doing media outreach for Intactivism itself. So anyways, here's the script. I want you guys to hear this. This is what's going out to a large number of editors, publishers, and reporters in the Las Vegas and Pahrump area.
Hello, my name is Daniel Rold. I'm calling about a central protest that will be occurring over various locations of Las Vegas and the surrounding area, including the Super Bowl, over the next 7 days. To get specific times and locations, go to bloodstainedmen.com/about-us/events/. If you have any questions, please call or text 619-317-2369. I represent an independent group of concerned citizens. Our goal is to share essential facts with media influencers that have been hidden from our awareness and is a powerful taboo to even discuss in America. The Bloodstained men are on your streets to educate American parents and the population of the true harms and nature of American medicalized child genital mutilation we euphemistically prefer to call circumcision. We sent an email full of hard-to-find resources that are essential to understanding this exploding topic. Please check your spam filters if you've not seen an email with the subject, traveling 7-day protest coming to Las Vegas area warns parents, stop genital cutting of children. Let us know if you did not get our email. Inside we have research and evidence that not even our doctors are aware of. The emperor truly has no clothes. In America, profiteering doctors strap down healthy baby boys and take pliers and knives to the most pleasurable part of our bodies, violating our most fundamental human rights, painfully clamping, ripping, scraping, crushing, and finally slicing off half the surface area of our genitals in a brutal, senseless mutilation of a perfect human being. This half, approximately 15 to 20 square inches in the adult male, contains 75% of the most erotic nerve endings in our body, including the 2 most sensitive parts of the frenulum and the ridge band. This is the equivalent of cutting off a little girl's clitoris. In the adult male, this tissue everts during erection, becoming the main interfacing tissue which both gives and receives pleasure during intercourse. It also has an important mechanical function which reduces friction, maintains lubrication, and makes sex extremely pleasurable for both partners. For more information on how this affects the receiving partner, see sexisnatureintended.com. The frenulum and the ridge band, the 2 most sensitive parts of the penis, are chock full of Meissner corpuscles, the most sensitive nerve endings in the human body. They are found in abundance in the lips and the fingertips. This is why touching and kissing feels good. We were designed by nature to fit perfectly together. In fact, 5,488 mammal species all have a prepuce. Women have a prepuce. It's called the clitoral hood. Our bodies are not ooey or disgusting. They are not disease-prone or in need of surgical alterations. The prepuce is literally part of our DNA and has been for over 150 million years of mammalian evolution. The prepuce is the main sensory tissue of a male's genitals and is extremely nerve dense. You simply cannot remove this tissue without forcing a child through extreme pain. 55% of children receive no anesthesia still today. The best anesthesia, the dorsal nerve block, is only 40 to 50% effective, so every child will experience extreme pain. This is the most pain most men will ever experience in their entire lives. No child has ever slept through an inadequately anesthetized genital surgery, and neither has any adult. When children go through extreme pain and go silent, this is a sign of disassociation that is so common the fight or flight response has been updated to the fight, flight, or freeze response. Genital mutilation radiation is so traumatic it causes permanent damage to a child's developing brain during what psychologists call the critical period of brain development. Harvard University calls this reaction to trauma an adverse childhood experience, or ACE. ACEs influence epigenetics, or how the child's genes are activated. Early life trauma is not forgotten, but creates permanent morphological and structural changes in key areas of the brain, such as the limbic system, the amygdala, the dorsal anterior cingulate, and the rotatory cingulate, to name a few. These are important areas of the brain essential in mood, personality, and stress response. Circumcision was started in the 1870s when doctors believed that sin was the cause of all diseases. Boys and girls caught masturbating were punished with genital mutilation without anesthesia. Young girls had their external clitorises burned off with carbolic acid. This is what started circumcision in America, and we've been trying to justify it ever since. The medical excuses have morphed over time, yet circumcision is still a cure in search of a disease. The so-called medical benefits are trivial and nonsensical, even if they were true, which they are not. Circumcision never was, nor will it ever be, legit medicine. The so-called medical benefits amount to cutting off children's feet to prevent stubbed toes and should not fool a fifth-grade biology student, let alone medical doctors. For instance, we are told that a reduction in UTIs is an excuse to circumcise boys. UTIs are rare in boys. They are 10 times more common in females. Yet you would never strap down little girls and cut off part of their labia, even if such a surgery did in fact reduce UTIs. Rather, we give them medical treatment that causes the least amount of harm. Amputating body parts is an extreme intervention reserved for the most dire medical emergencies. UTIs are easily treatable and long-term complications exceedingly rare. Penile cancer is even more ridiculous. Less than 1 in 100,000 men will ever get penile cancer. It happens when a man is 70 to 80 years old and has an over 98% survival rate. Like all the so-called benefits, this is not a benefit. This is a nonsensical, trivial excuse. We are the only culture in the world that claims this is medicine. American doctors are unable to answer basic questions about the anatomy, structure, and function of the tissue they are cutting off children. The rest of the world's pediatric associations are against mutilating children, and many have called out the AAP for cultural bias. American doctors are high-pressure selling genital mutilation, misleading and lying to parents while failing to give proper informed consent. Medical benefits are trivial and nonsensical. Modern, higher-quality research has debunked these so-called benefits. Hospitals even sell the genital tissues stolen from babies for additional profits for this multi-billion-dollar industry in violation of numerous laws. It is clear this is a massive human rights violation, and we're just now starting to expose the truth of how harmful this is to our children and our society. Our children depend on you and the good reporters of your organization to do your research with the critical mind. Examine our email. The science absolutely does not support genital mutilation of our babies, not even a little bit. This issue is exploding in social media and men's rights organizations as well as parenting groups all across our country. Parents do not want to make this mistake today, and they will have to answer to their sons tomorrow in a rapidly changing society that was growing in awareness of the truth of circumcision. Please let your family and your audience know that an essential human rights movement is on the horizon. Intactivism is growing, and we are the next biggest human rights issue in America. It is essential that for our children, that we start this conversation today. The brave men and women of the Bloodstained Men are in Las Vegas to break the taboo, to protect children from harm, and to share the good news with parents that we don't have to cut parts off our children anymore. And in fact, we never did. We are better than this, America. Our children deserve better than 19th century pre-germ theory quackery that does nothing but harm our children. If you have any questions, please call me, Daniel Rold, at 619-317-2369. That's 619-317-2369.
Yeah, so that's it. That's what the reporters are getting. As you can see, it hits three major areas. It hits the anatomy, structure, and function. It's the psychological damage and the medical quackery and excuses. That's the three, I call them the three pillars of intactivism. It's the three just most influential parts of intactivism that I think need to be understood. The anatomy is first, because if you don't understand the anatomy, how are you going to understand the psychological damage? In order to understand the psychological damage, if you think it's a small flap of useless bland skin, of course you're not going to believe that it's psychologically damaging. So if you understand it's the most pleasurable, sensitive part of our genitalia, which are obviously sensitive, we would, then you can understand why this is so psychologically damaging and harmful, and how it creates these the damage to our entire society.